Hello everyone, I'm Rakesh12. Welcome to the first episode of the Tag Show. I'm of course your host Rakesh12 along with
Renzo Gaming.
and
What's up?
and of course our first episode is right here, right live right now. So, if you ever want to catch these episodes live or talk about the show, we will leave the Discord link to where we are recording these episodes right in the description below, along with Renzo Gaming's channel, so you could go check out his channel too. So let's get right into the podcast. All right. So our first topic for today. What is our first topic, Renzo?
So we're doing the new Nintendo Switch, which is coming out in about a couple days.
So from when this episode is released, which is March 1st, the Nintendo Switch is coming out March 3rd. So, let's start. What do you think about the Nintendo Switch? As a console as a whole, what do you think about the Nintendo Switch?
Well, as a console, I believe it could reach very high. How do I word this? Like very high
Potential?
expectations, kind of, because kind of like the for an Xbox One, you expect high of it, and I believe the Nintendo Switch will be respected, kind of as like the big boys that you kind of call it.
So, the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's been hyping this thing up. Like, this thing, I've seen at least 12 ads, a dozen ads about it. So they've been hyping this thing up, and if they could fulfill that hype, this is gonna be a great generation for Nintendo. So I'm of course gonna say something that backs up Nintendo, and that is how this company tries to innovate the gaming industry. Okay, so you have Sony, you have Microsoft. They make great consoles. I gotta admit, I have both of their brand new consoles. They're great, okay. But the problem with their consoles is all they do is take the same thing, just make a little bit better, and just release it. What Nintendo does is they make entirely new technology for the gaming industry. You had the Nintendo 64, which had 3D graphics, and this is the point of the first consoles had 3D graphics at the time. And now that was actually decent 3D graphics for, probably even advanced 3D graphics for its time. You had the NES, or the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was like what cured video gaming from the video game crash of the 80s. And so Nintendo was the one that brought gaming back in the beginning, and then of course you had Sega along with as a competitor, Atari and stuff like that. And in the end, those fell. Atari's no longer making consoles. Sega's no longer making consoles. Sorry, and Nintendo's the only one left. That's because they can still innovate it. The GameCube was a square cube, and that was different. But now they made the DS, which is a portable, like little gaming thing. But the Nintendo Switch continues on that. The Wii also was innovative in that with those motion controllers. The Wii U had the same idea with that gigantic controller, which of course flopped in their faces. The Nintendo Switch, the thing about that is the Nintendo Switch is entirely different console. You could take on the go. It's not like a tablet which has watered down games. This are legit games of our time that you can find on an Xbox, that you can find on PS4, on an actual console that you can take with you, and that's what I like about it.
I agree with that, because you can get major games such as the winner of more than 200 Game of the Year awards, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, will be available to the Nintendo Switch in fall of 2017.
Which that's a very good game. I've played it before, a great game. And now people have been able to play on consoles, on PCs, but usually you can't take your console, you can't take your PC on the go until now. And now you can play the full version of Skyrim, which is the award-winning game from the Elder Scrolls, and you could take it with you. Like, let's say you're on an airplane flight, you could play your Elder Scrolls on your airplane flight, and that's what I like about the Nintendo Switch.
I agree.
So another thing about the Nintendo Switch is the limit of storage, and that's the thing I'm saying, because like Nintendo, they don't care about graphics. They don't care about trying to compete exactly with Sony and with Microsoft. They look. So Nintendo Switch has 720p graphics compared to the 1080p that the PS4 and Xbox One now support. And so in the end, what you get is you get a pretty, you get a pretty great console that is pretty decent graphics, pretty decent stuff. But now, this is portable. Take a look at the Wii, all right? That took motion controllers to the next level, and what Nintendo and what Sony and what Microsoft did with that is they saw how popular the Wii was, and they competed in that. They had the PlayStation Move, and you had the Kinect. The Kinect is still doing fine. The PlayStation Move flopped when it was released for the PS3, and now it's just like a PlayStation VR thing. So yeah, that's what I have to say. Like, Nintendo innovates so much that eventually the other companies have to release products similar to theirs.
That is very true because Microsoft and Sony both released some type of motion product for games such as Just Dance, because those were hit game. Those were mostly hit games back when the Wii U and Wii first came out, because those were the only places that you were able to actually play a game that could read where you were standing, where you were walking, what movements you were doing. It was really a evolution in gaming history.
So that's exactly what Nintendo's known for. They're known for this evolution. They're known for this creating of standards in gaming. And now you still have the Kinect. You still have the PlayStation Move somewhere. You have the Kinect now included with Xbox One consoles. You have the PlayStation Move included with the PlayStation VR. And you could see now that is like a substantial move in gaming history. You still have those because of what Nintendo did with the Wii. Amiibos, that's something new that Nintendo made. Those are actually pretty popular, but you haven't seen anything from Microsoft or Sony yet from that. And I want to ask this question: do you think that they would actually catch on to the Amiibo thing that Nintendo has been doing, where they have these little action figures you can put on your Wii U or your 3DS, and you can play those characters like something like Super Smash Bros. And level them up and stuff like that?
Honestly, it would take some time for Sony and Microsoft to catch up, because Nintendo, they kind of get the head start on all of this, and they're the first ones to get this stuff out, such as when stuff for the PS4, I can't remember the name of it, but you're able to put your little action figure on it and it'll bring it right into the game. Nintendo first came out with that, and then Sony caught on to it.
If you remember that, and then Nintendo made their own version, but that's like a Nintendo thing. That wasn't made for someone like the people that make Skylanders. I forgot, what was it? It was Activision, right? So
yeah, I believe so.
That was for all consoles. This is a Nintendo exclusive, made by Nintendo. So I'm wondering, do you think the other competitors will catch up with that?
Honestly, not really. They're too far behind at this point. It would take a miracle to catch up to Nintendo and how far it's gotten in its
Amiibo business.
Yeah.
So, another thing I want to talk about is, so I'm moving on to the next topic now. I was thinking of a different topic, if you know what the topic was, but I while we were recording this the first time, I thought of a good topic. We were talking about this. It's mobile gaming. So mobile gaming, if you have your smartphone, you have your tablets, you have your iPads and iPhones, this is getting has been getting bigger and better. You now have a mobile like version of like League of Legends or something like that, and that's only for mobile device, and they have their own esports competitions for that. Like mobile gaming has probably been the fastest growing gaming industry I have ever seen. Like you've had video games consoles that's taken at least 30 years to fully like 20 30 years to fully like make popular, and not like everyone wants one. But mobile gaming, everyone has a phone, everyone can play their games. Everyone like everyone wants to play these games, and it is the fastest growing industry I've ever seen. People making millions upon maybe even billions of dollars because of this industry has been growing so rapidly in the last decade.
Yes, because I agree. For example, such as Clash of Clans, a
Clash
major,
Royale,
yes, major names on the App Store at the time, both in Apple and in Android, because
for sure.
they both are very good games, and I believe that they kind of took charge into the mobile industry.
So you also have a game called Vainglory, which is the League of Legends game that I mentioned that's in mobile exclusive that they have esports for. Vainglory, I've actually played it before. It's a great game. It's a one lane, combat. You have your minions, you have your stuff. It's a great game, and it's also very high quality. So I think because of the rate the mobile gaming is going, mobile phones have been getting bigger graphics, bigger, better graphics. Have been getting more powerful, smaller CPUs that can fit more and more. Them getting more storage and getting more RAM. They've been getting more powerful in general. And this is a question I want to ask you: do you think that eventually mobile devices, gaming wise, could be as good as a console these days? That's what I want to ask. 'Cause I was wondering this as I was sitting there post recording the first time. I was sitting there like, man, mobile gaming has really taken a huge step. So I was wondering, do you think the mobile game could actually be as good as a console? So, nothing can ever be a controller, but I'm just saying, like, graphics wise, CPU wise, power wise, do you think a mobile device could be as good as the big, bulky consoles that we have these days?
Well, I believe so, but future is the only one that could tell us, because such as the iPhone 7, and it is capable of 4K graphics, I have heard, and some PS4 games are 4K. So we're able to get these games such as Clash Royale and get them in 4K, which is what consoles, like at home consoles, are looking for. They are looking for high speed 4K graphics, and some
So,
phones are
so wait, hold
already
on.
there.
I'm sorry. So you agree with me saying that mobile devices could be as good as a console one day? You could be playing on the go, probably even better than the Nintendo Switch, possibly.
Yes, I do believe that.
But of course, that takes time, and I don't think really mobile devices are focused on the gaming aspect yet. They are getting more powerful, but and with better graphics and better RAM and everything. But I don't think that's gaming is what they're mainly focusing on. It's for sure other stuff like just having more power in general, so they could fit more software, better software, stuff like that. But that's what I want to talk about because I was wondering because mobile devices have really gotten good at gaming. Like, of course, it's not what everyone uses the mobile device for, but it could be a possible thing that people use it for even more than they do now, since the mobile gaming industry has grown so much in the past decade.
Yeah, it's kind of like those 7-year-old kids that have their mom that uses their mom's phone for all their games.
Exactly. And like if they're away from their console, they play this like it's equivalent of playing a console game. They treat this like it's like a Nintendo Switch, basically. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I was wondering. And now that we think about all this mobile gaming stuff, I think it's time to go on to the topic we were supposed to talk about, and that's E3 predictions. So what do you think for E3? I'm definitely thinking that we're definitely gonna see Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft come back for another year of gaming.
Honestly, I think E3 has a dark side to it. Many people can't predict what E3 is going to come up with. I believe they are
It's
going to.
basically like a rough patch, right? Like we don't.
Yeah,
It's like you
you
don't know
can't really tell what is going to come next.
and tell what happens. So you can't necessarily tell what's gonna happen at E3 until E3 actually happens. But what I predict is we're definitely gonna be seeing more indie developers. So Sony has been promoting indie games for their PS4 recently. Like I think this entire year I've just seen Sony promoting indie games. I've
Yeah,
seen
such as
indie
No Man's
games.
Sky.
Of course, that didn't do very well, but I've seen them promoting other indie games as well. So I think we're definitely going to see, because of Sony, maybe, and maybe of other reasons, we're definitely going to see more maybe more indie, like less known developers at E3. So, of course, you're going to have your usual suspects. You're going to have, of course, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. You're going to have EA. You're going to have Ubisoft, Activision, stuff like that. But you're also going to have some more indie developer. I said third party are basically EA and stuff like that. But we're definitely going to see more indie developers, I would assume, because of the growth they've been receiving from Sony and maybe even Microsoft. They've been trying to also promote maybe a little bit of indie games, but not as much as Sony. So I definitely think we're going to see more indie games.
Yes, I do agree with you.
So, so to wrap up this episode here, E3, until we find out what is actually happening E3, we predict that we're definitely going to see more indie developers, and I guess that question will only be answered come of time. So now, time to wrap up all our thoughts on all three topics. Nintendo Switch could be a great console if Nintendo doesn't screw it up, if they don't mess up all the hype they have given it. Mobile gaming could be as good as consoles in the future. And third of all, we could, of course, see more indie games and indie developers in E3. Any other final thoughts that you have?
I believe not. I
Basically
believe
everything I
that.
mentioned.
Yes, we're good.
All right, well, it's time to wrap up this episode. Of course, like I said at the beginning, link to Renzo's channel and the Discord if you want to ever join us and listen to this show live. You can also talk in the audience section, and just in case you spam, we have a bot, so do not worry. Thank you everyone so much. Thank you everyone so much for watching the first episode of the Tag Tech and Gaming podcast. Hope you all enjoyed. You should leave like, comment, subscribe if you'd like to see more of the Tag podcast. This took a while to put together, and it took a few days of just trying to come up with ideas and how to put this together. So, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Rakesh102. That's Renzo Gaming. And we will see you guys in the next Tag podcast. Peace out. All right. Thank you everyone so much for watching. This is our first episode. This is our first time ever doing something like this. So, of course, we're not going to be the best podcasters in the entire world. But I hope that we can get better as we go. So I want you guys to maybe cut us a little bit of slack here. I know I rambled a lot in this episode. It was probably mostly me talking and less Renzo. So I'm really sorry about that. I hope that we can improve that and hopefully, make better for episodes in the future and hope we become better podcasters one day. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.